welcome to the land of Vidoran, a continent plagued with menacing and powerful bosses. As one of the last living vampires, I must restore my proper power by defeating and consuming the blood and knowledge of these enemies. To do so, I'll spend the next 100 nights mastering different weaponry as well as a huge range of spells. I'll also need to enslave the local populace as well as build a castle fit for a vampire lord in order to help me achieve my goal, defeating Dracula and taking my rightful place as the strongest vampire alive. Will I be able to do so? Let's find out. First, I had to make my vampire and escape from my coffin as well as the underground crypt that I had been put in. Thankfully, there was a local graveyard nearby with some skeletons. I have never noticed these guys' necks before. That is definitely not natural. That is concerning. They should see a chiropractor. Oh my god. I then made my first weaponry and my first magical ring. This gave me the ability to use a weapon to kill the skeletons, and as well as that, we also got our first spell, a blood bolt. And we got our counter spell. Nice. We have the graveyard exit here. We don't really need any more of the skelly boys, so we are gonna exit out. We're going to exit out the east side. I then made myself my first lot of bone armor and found my first teleporter. I then also found my first couple of plants. Now, I realized the gathering rate was slightly higher. I did have it originally set to 3 times, but I did eventually change this to 2 times when the sun decided to rise upon us arriving at a bandit camp. Thankfully, I was well equipped to deal with these guys. They were slightly stronger than us, but we still, being the overlord vampire that we are, managed to kill these guys with the help of some shade that was forming throughout the cloud system. I'm going to take this guy's blood. I don't know where our hide is. That'll give us... There we go, we got some hide here. After finding some hide, I then was able to make the next bit of armor that I required, and I finally had a full set of armor equipped. I also made myself some bone axes and the bone mace. These pretty much allow us to harvest stone and wood slightly better at a higher rate with an extra 25%. And I continued exploring, coming across a bunch of locals in the process and feeding on them as well. All right, we've got the castle heart down. Let's go ahead and insert some blood essence. There we go. Now, after placing the castle heart, I then went ahead and placed a couple of extra walls to continue the quest line. And I also placed a coffin as well. It was just a basic one, not our grand one. And we also placed a storage chest and a mist brazier as well as our first sawmill. We're going to need this to create planks, which we were going to need for a lot of things. So I then spent some time going ahead and harvesting up some stone and wood nearby, as well as clearing out the area where I had put the base. We have some visitors. I didn't even notice these guys right here on our camp. This just will not do. Although this guy's got 76% rogue blood. We're going to take that. Probably should have made him a minion, actually, to be honest, but it's too late now. He's ours. We got his blood. I then returned and placed a simple workbench and began crafting up my first blood rose ring, as well as my reinforced bone weaponry. I was looking to get into copper, but in order to do that, I needed the reinforced weapons, and then I went ahead and made myself some upgraded armor, and then I ventured out to try and fight some guys, as well as find some copper. I found some guys to kill, but they were killing me more so. Okay, we found some copper ore just here. We are getting attacked by one of these little bastards, though. Hopefully it leaves us alone now. There we go. Nope, it's still coming after us. Yep, that is definitely what I want to see when I'm trying to get through this area. A big old corpse pile. Thank you for that. I ventured all the way out there to try and find some copper, and there's copper right bloody here. I'm a fool. Eventually, I made it back to my base and finished creating the armor that I needed, and then I just needed to wait for some copper ore to get smelted up. Thankfully, I did unlock the furnace from completing my armor set, so I built the furnace and chucked the copper ore into the furnace to refine into copper bars. There we go. Let's take care of the wife wolf. He's not going to hit us. His first minion's already down. Second minion's already down, and now it's his turn. Easy. And with that, I had successfully killed my first V-Blood, granting me the ability to shapeshift into a wolf, which made us run faster. I then found Rufus The Foreman, our next V-Blood that was on my hit list. Kill his little worker bees that he's got sitting here. Try again, mate. You missed. Please, sir, at least try and face the right way. Okay, he finally hit us. Okay, okay, now we're in trouble. We've got plenty of health orbs. We're going to counter that. Oh, that doesn't get countered. Never mind. There we go. Rufus the Foreman is now down. And with the defeat of Rufus, I did get a blood spell point, which I spent on a vampiric yell. Killing Rufus also netted us the crossbow, some simple furniture, as well as another crafting table. This was essentially the progression system in V Rising. Kill a V-Blood, you gain the next tier of items / resources / structures, as well as spell points. So naturally, I went ahead and found myself the next V-Blood, Keely the Frost Archer. Hit her. And with that, I had managed to kill Keely the Frost Archer, granting us the research desk, which would allow us to actually research new technologies and new armors. We did get a bunch of extra stuff from Keely, and that main one that we were after was the ability to make leather. Alrighty, and here is our research desk placed down and ready to go, and we already have some research that we can accomplish. Now we got the castle relocation hut as well. I'm actually really excited to see how this works. I finally had enough ingots in order to make some copper weaponry, so I went ahead and made a sword, an axe, and the mace, as well as upgraded our castle hut, granting us more space as well as castle walls as well. I then headed out and went to fight Rufus again to see if we could get more loot. Unluckily, I didn't really receive any loot from him. I was hoping for some schematics to pop into the research desk, but that didn't happen. And then I headed out into the mine to try and kill our next V-Blood. Now, this was a copper mine as well, so there were tons of copper nodes everywhere, which I was eventually going to mine. First up, however, I had to get the chest, and then made my way down to Errol the Stonebreaker and got to work at defeating Errol. Awesome. Errol the Stonebreaker is dead. After defeating Errol, I did get a Chaos spell point as well as an assortment of chests, and I spent that point on the Aftershock spell, and then I spent the rest of the day mining up all of the copper ore in the mine. There was a lot of copper ore, and I wanted to bring it all back to base as it was going to make a crap ton of bars. Nothing else I really want to drop to pick up more copper, to be honest. I don't think our furnace is prepared for the materials we're about to insert. Let's make the Immortal King's drape here. And with that, I was then also able to make the next tier of armor, thanks to killing Keely the Frost Archer with the leather. I then spent some time gathering as well, because I had reduced the rates to 2 times as well. I then made my way to the next bandit camp in hopes to find the next V-Blood that was there. I was also just looking at materials and testing out some of the new spells that I had. I don't think we'll be able to fight Grayson the Armor in the full daylight, so we might have to wait. I'm going to kill these guys though. I say that and I'm not doing a very good job of it. Did manage to find a locked chest and did get that open before I got set on fire. Thankfully, the loot in it was worth it, and I did receive a merciless copper longbow blueprint so that I could learn that at the research desk and eventually make it. It was then time to fight Grayson the Armor. Now, obviously, fighting him during the day, not the greatest choice of battle time for myself, but I figured I could definitely do him with the shadows and stuff like that, and it was slowly coming up to nighttime, so I was secretly hoping that I could pull it off. The trees with the shadows definitely helped, and Grayson did have a little bit of a different battle strategy compared to the last bosses. We essentially had to put on armor when he threw his caltrops around, walk through the caltrops to clear some of that area, and then fight him. So all in all, it was a pretty, not easy, but tedious fight to get through, and thankfully Grayson did eventually get to half health, and we were gifted with some health orbs. And then we finally just had to finish the job. So we got the workshop floors, some storage shelves, some target dummies, as well as the whetstone ability, which is awesome. I then ventured out to find Gores Swine the Ravager, the next V-Blood that we were hoping to take down. Now this guy was really good at spawning in a lot of mobs, so it was really good that we had that chaos slash to clear most of them out of the way. You can see there it did a huge area of effect damage. We did come very close to dying. He was doing a lot of damage to us. So we were on a lot of low health for most of this fight, but thankfully we did have our first weapon skill thanks to our copper sword, so we were able to whirlwind all around him, and that compared with the frostbat and the chaos slash, we were slowly whittling him down. There was a lot going on. We just had to be careful that we didn't die, because I didn't really want to die this early. It'd be slightly embarrassing. Oh, he's gone immune again. Come on, we're so close. We're so low though. That should be enough to kill him. Oh, baby, that was close. We gotta wait for that. Let's go. We've got our unholy spell point. We've got some tombs, graveyard decor, grave digger rings, grave dust, and we can raise skeleton and ghouls. So after defeating Gores Swine, I then did some exploration where I stumbled upon Tristan the Vampire Hunter. He is a very powerful V-Blood that we were definitely not ready to fight. I did come down into this camp to try and find Lydia the Chaos Archer, who was very close to this. Thankfully, Tristan did not get involved and we did manage to track down Lydia, who was just here. And she was very similar to the sort of kit that we would use. She would fire out chaos bolts that would deal damage to us and deal burning damage over time. Thankfully, I was too much of a mad skilled professional and dodged the majority of her attacks so that she couldn't hit me with her chaos volleys. It did turn to day while I was fighting her, however, that wasn't really too much of an issue as there were trees here that were providing enough shade, and I was able to kill Lydia. I went back to base and made myself the Merciless Copper Spear, the next tier of weaponry, and I also unlocked the Copper Bow as well as a new set of gloves at the research desk. I did make the next tier of Marauder gloves for myself, which gives us an extra item level, and I went ahead and made my first set of whetstones, placed down a grinder as well in the base, and got stone blocks grinding down so I could make some castle walls. I also placed a leather working station and unlocked the Chaos Volley spell as well. And then I visited the shops and bought some more recipes, hoping to get the next tier of armor so that we could get a stronger gear level and fight stronger V-Bloods. Okay, so they kind of give us different buffs. So you can see here the Grim Ranger gloves give us weapon recovery cooldown rate. The Marauder gloves gives us extra health. I think I'll stick with the Marauders for now though. So let's craft that up. So now we have a total item level of 32, which is pretty good. I then spent the rest of the night gathering up some materials nearby just so I could get them processing while I was out killing some more V-Bloods, harvesting up some more wood to turn into planks and some more stone to turn into stone bricks as well. While harvesting resources, I found a wolf with 97% creature blood, so I drained that of its blood and then headed out to the next V-Blood, Finn the Fisherman. I'm very excited to see what Finn the Fisherman does. Does he just swing his fish around? Oh god. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit scared against the fisherman there. Never underestimate a fisherman and his fish. What's he gonna pull out? Oh Jesus, they're attacking me. That's impressive, Finn. You get points for trying, mate. Oh my god. A sea serpent? I want Finn's power. Screw the rod. Oh shit, the sun. May have forgotten about that. He's got piranhas? This is impressive, I'm not gonna lie. Finn, mate, I take my hat off to you. As impressive as Finn the Fisherman was summoning sea serpents and pufferfish and piranhas, we did have to defeat him. He was the next V-Blood that we needed to kill. Okay, that has to have been one of the craziest, funnest V-Boss battles I've done. He's definitely a new guy. He wasn't in the early access patch, so that was really fun and cool. So after defeating Finn, I then wanted to try and find a new base spot. Thankfully, I had found one up here in next to his area. Actually, there was a stone golem up here as well, and I actually just went ahead and kited him around the area, using him to clear out all the resources here to make it easier for us to build here. It worked out great. Look at all the resources we had to pick up. So we went ahead and placed down our castle relocation hut to give this a shot, because this was new tech where you could actually just move your entire castle. It was actually pretty cool. So I got to work at moving it all, and it was actually really smooth. It was a really good system and a good way to move everything. Obviously, my base wasn't looking very great. That was definitely going to be a work in progress, but I had moved everything to this new location, which I was pretty happy with. I then wanted to build the castle walls to get a ceiling so I could continue with the quests in the top left-hand corner. Thankfully, I was able to complete a room, so we were able to claim that, and then I had the ability to create a waygate. However, I needed some gem dust for that first. I did make the waygate, and then I crafted a stone coffin as well, and then I headed out to subdue my first slave. Got them in their servant coffin, converting them as well, and I placed down some storage boxes that had the particular storage type. These were really cool and really new, so I was really happy to have these as well. I then headed out to the Sulphur Quarry to track down my next V-Blood, Clive the Firestarter. This guy would give us the ability to create sulfur in our furnaces, which was going to be a major component moving forward through V-Rising. He also gave us the ability to create explosives, which we weren't really going to use all that much because you do get a bear form later down the line that pretty much does the exact same thing as the explosives. Now, Clive, he is a very bombastic guy. He threw a lot of bombs, a lot of explosions across the screen, a lot of areas where you had to dodge and try and save your dash. It was a very tricky fight. He almost killed me once. We ended up here on 12 health. Thankfully, I was able to retreat around the corner and blood mend a little bit before he threw one bomb at us. I got one little tiny sliver of health off. Thankfully, my mad reflexes and impressive skills were able to hit Clive with our spells and slowly whittling him down. You can see that burn damage slowly killing him. He did have all these explosive minions as well that did also throw bombs, but thankfully I was able to take him down. Managed to kill Clive the Firestarter as well. So we can now make potions with the alchemy table as well. We also got a chaos spell point. I then headed out to Polara, the Feywalker, who was just slightly north of Clive. I figured why not? We were out here. I feel like we could probably take her. So I got to work on defeating Polara. Now for this, I pretty much had the 2 chaos spells, our Chaos Volley, and I think it was called Aftershock. Chaos Aftershock. So the area of effect, which made it really easy to hit our spells. And then the Chaos Volley, obviously a little bit harder to hit, but we were able to get her down to half health. And she does start to spawn in little moths, and she throws out wolves and spectral wolves and stuff like that. So she was a little bit difficult, but I had faced her before, so I knew what I was going into, which made things a little bit easier. I just had to kind of avoid all her spells, and, well, I mean, that's what you had to do for pretty much everyone, to be honest. But thankfully, we were able to take down Polara, the Feywalker, after she did some hijinks on us and turned invisible for a little bit. She did fall to the might of our Chaos spells and our Merciless Copper Spear, taking her down and unlocking a bunch of new stuff regarding our garden. So we got garden foundations, we got hedges, as well as plots for growing plants, which was going to be really helpful because we would need a bunch of plants. By the time we got back to base, Kenya was ready to rise and we had unlocked our first servant. Now with our servant, we could actually send them out on missions to gather resources for us as well. Alrighty, we should be able to make a throne now. Just don't look at the castle, whatever you do. It is not a pretty sight at the moment. I promise you I will be working on it once I stock up on some more materials. Alrighty, so we got the Gravedigger ring, and then we're going to make the Ring of the Dawn Runner. Alright, boom. I then ventured out to try and track down Quincy the Bandit King. However, he was locked behind a stronghold, which I needed to get the bear form orc explosives for. So I figured I'd just go kill the bear and get the bear form. So, Kodia was unfortunately the next victim to face us in this battle with our Chaos spells once again and our Merciless Copper Spear. The bear didn't really stand much of a chance against us, which I wasn't really complaining about, to be honest, because I have nightmares about facing this bear before. It was just so strong. We were also 3 gear levels stronger than Kodia as well, so that's also possibly the reason why we were able to just absolutely demolish her. And with defeating Kodia, we had unlocked the bear form. This gave us the ability to pretty much break down barricades as well as large stone structures. So we returned back to Quincy the Bandit King on a blood moon, destroying his barricade in the process and making our way up to face him. Now Quincy the Bandit King was also going to give us our first ultimate spell if we were able to defeat him. He did have a couple of minions here and there that we did have to try and deal with as well, and his shield did have the ability to reverse our attacks back onto ourselves as well. But thankfully, with my elite vampire hunting skills and defeating the V-Bloods before, we knew what was coming with Quincy. So we slowly whittled him down with our Chaos spells and our spear, and we were able to defeat Quincy the Bandit King. On defeating Quincy, we got access to the tier 3 spell point, a smithy, the tailoring bench, staircases, the ability to craft iron, and our next tier of armor. After defeating Quincy, I then made my way out to Nicolaus the Fallen. Once again, another stronger V-Blood at level 35. We were still slightly stronger than him, but Nicolaus was notorious for summoning in a bunch of skelly boys. You can see them here. Now, thankfully, we did have access to our ultimate spell now as well, our first ultimate Chaos spell, which was the Chaos Barrage. So that was going to actually help us massively in this fight. But you can see the amount of skelly boys that Nicolaus summons in. Thankfully, we did have one area of effect spell that I was using constantly, the Aftershock one. So these guys weren't really too much of an issue, and we were able to keep most of them at bay with that and our spear attack. That didn't make the fight any easier, however. You can see them just absolutely piling in, and this was our ultimate ability just there. Unfortunately, I did miss the last shot, but it didn't matter because I was able to finish him with my spear. On defeating him, we unlocked the paper press, some candles and stands, as well as curtains and an unholy spell point for our ultimate, nonetheless, which was really good, and we did learn the spider ultimate. Next up, Tristan the Vampire Hunter. Now, this guy was a very difficult fight. He likes to set things on fire. I set it open with the ultimate ability because I figured this was going to be a pretty long fight. I did have the assistance of some wolves very briefly, but he made very short work of those guys. And I accidentally killed the last one, so I was kind of leaving myself exposed here. Tristan, however, was 6 gear levels higher than us, but that did not stop me from giving this my best shot and trying to defeat him. Now, the big thing about Tristan, the vampire hunter, is that his fire actually sets you on fire, obviously. That's what fire does and how it works. And it makes the fight a hell of a lot harder because you're just constantly burning for a lot of your health. However, I was able to dodge most of these attacks, except for that one right there. When you can see there, look at the damage that it just does to us. And it also coats the area in a huge amount of fire. So I was able to gather the health orbs, and I did just kind of freeze up there. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I did try to get away for a little bit just to restore some of my health with the Bloodmen, which I did actually pull off because you can hide behind some of the trees. And then essentially I just kind of kited him around the area, utilizing my long-range spells and just walking around to try and defeat him. Thankfully, it actually worked because I was able to get my Chaos Volleys and my Aftershock on and defeat Tristan the Vampire Hunter when he was 6 levels higher than us. On killing him, we unlocked the Great Sword, Greater Blood Essence, a Blood Hunger, and a Blood Spell Point. Now, I then made my way into the Fair Bane Woods, which was the next area that we got access to. Now, I was after some iron ore in order to unlock our next tier of weaponry. I did find some on the way to the iron mines, but I wanted to spend majority of my time in these mines in order to get all the iron nodes, as there is a butt ton of iron ore in this cave, and we were going to need all of it to craft our weapons, as well as future structures going forward. So I did slot cap myself with iron ore in my inventory, and then I headed out of there to get it back to the base. I then returned back to base, dropping the iron ore off into our furnace, and then I figured, you know what, let's go hunt a V-Blood in the middle of the day.
This might be a bad idea trying to kill Beatrice the Tailor when it's full daylight and the village is completely open. But hey, let's give it a shot. The worst she does is run away from us, right? Because I'm pretty sure that's all she's capable of doing. How do they know I'm a vampire? It's a bit racist. I mean, I am a wolf, I guess. It does make sense. Could you stop shouting at me? There she is. Hello, lady. Yep, cool. Thank you for that. Run inside exactly where I need you. Well, this is what I wanted to avoid. I did want to try and avoid wiping out the entire town, but that doesn't look like that's going to be the case today. I've killed them all, Beatrice. You're on your own, my dear. She's actually outrunning a vampire, which is kind of sad. There we go. Now, upon defeating Beatrice, we got access to a whole bunch of new tailoring stuff to make our new armor when another V-Blood walked into town. Christina the Sun Priestess. So I figured, you know what, we're here, let's try and kill her as well. Now, she did have guards, and she also had the ability to heal her guards as well. And there was a lot of guys in this town, so it made things a little bit more difficult than usual, but thankfully I was able to get another ultimate ability off to her, and she almost killed me in one shot. Thankfully I was inside, so I did get a little bit of healing off before I ran around the corner and got a little bit more healing off. And then we went outside and I finished the job with our ultimate. An ultimate fitting for the Sun Priestess to go down. From her we got candles, wool thread, and the silver thread bag. Now, I still wasn't really fully happy with my current base spot. It was really far out. We weren't in the Fairbane Woods. We were far away from everything. So I found this spot in the center of the Dunley farmlands, and I figured, you know what? This might be a pretty decent spot to build up on. I then found Vincent the Frostbringer wandering around. Now, he was still a little bit stronger than us, but I figured we should be able to take him. He did have a couple of guards guarding him, obviously. So we were going to need to take them out first, but I figured we could definitely take him on with our Aftershock and our ultimate ability. So I popped all of those straight out of the bat, killing all of his little minions and dealing decent damage to him through a very long and tedious freezing fight. He was really pushing us. Thankfully, I was able to get out and finish Vincent the Frostbringer, killing him in the process as well. He almost got the better of us there. I was worried because our gear popped up saying it was damaged. I was like, this is it. It's over. Woo! Vincent the Frostbringer is dead. And we got a bunch of wood in the process.
After feeding Vincent, I then made my way to the Iron Cave. Now, I wanted to try and farm some iron, however, I was a little bit too weak to actually hit those large nodes. So I went for the little nodes, but the elementals had something to say about that. They weren't very pleasant about me waking them up in the middle of the day. I then needed to get some cotton in order to make our next tier of gear. So I spent some time harvesting up the cotton in the nearby farms, as well as the sunflowers as well, because I was going to need those for some potions in the future. I returned back to base, unlocking some extra research such as the Marauder Vest and the Forge Flooring as well from some books that I had discovered while out. And then I got to work at setting up this new base spot. Alrighty, so we're going to once again move our base over here to the center of Dunley Farmlands. I just figured this is going to be a pretty good spot to set up. Normally, I think last time I actually built over here, it is a huge area with plenty of space. And it was kind of nestled in the corner. It really felt like a vampire castle over there. This time around, we're going to build right in the center of Dunley Farmlands. We're surrounded by all these resources, which will be really good for us to get around. There's a cave passage just there as well, so we can fast travel later. The village is just down here as well, so I feel like this is a really good place to set up our base. So we're going to get to work at clearing all this vegetation and stone out. We've got stone bricks, we've got planks. We should have enough blood essence to move everything over here. We just have to destroy everything in the area in the meantime. So it's probably going to take us all day, so we're going to have to get started on that. Thankfully, I was able to move everything over into the new location. However, everything was quite a mess. I did manage to sort it out, however, and this was going to be our main hall area. So I did manage to build an enclosed space so we wouldn't be set on fire every time we returned back to the base, which was going to be great. I also placed down my castle throne so that I could send my servants out on mission and complete the quest that I had at the top. I then also went to work at building my prison section on the right side of the castle entrance. This was where we were going to store our prisoners. I did need to tap some blood from a prisoner as well, as that was the next quest. Alright, so it ain't the prettiest, it's definitely not organized, but this is what we've currently got going on for our castle. Everything is in the room, so we do get the 25% bonus. There's no point in putting it in the matching floor just yet, because you haven't really had a chance to really unlock all of that. So at the moment, I am just refining some more stuff down. But essentially, this is what the castle is kind of, the shell is going to look like so far. So out the front here, we're going to have a garden all along here and like the promenade to entry into here. This is going to be the throne room, so we're going to have it all looking fancy. Right now, it's just literal clutter of mess. It's not my fault, I swear. We're working on it. So we've got the throne up here that we can command from. It's going to be our little throne room. I did want to try and put the throne room on the second floor. The only annoying thing about putting the throne room on the second floor is that the throne's ceiling system doesn't really work the greatest when you try to put it on the second floor. So for now, it's going to be down here. This here is going to be the servants' chambers. So once we get the servants' coffin, actually, we can even put this in here now for the time being. Once we get more servant coffins, they're going to be in here as well. So right next to the throne room. And then out through here, we're going to have an area leading upstairs to my private residence. At the back here, we're possibly going to do a garden, maybe another workshop. Not entirely sure just yet. We'll see how we go. Alrighty, we've got all our cotton in there. That's getting made up into cotton yarn, which we need to make the next tier of things. We can also make coarse thread with pollen and plant fiber, which we'll eventually get into. I forgot just how bloody monstrous this thing is. This castle is so freaking all over the place. Just wanted to make some new armor. That's all. Ooh. Ooh. Alright. Change of plans. Just found a 97% warrior. So we're going to take that guy back to our base. He's going to be our lucky first prisoner. Can do that relatively easy. Got him? Oh, of course there's another V blood there. Just run. Please don't die. Thankfully, I was able to get our prisoner back to the castle into a dungeon, and we had our first 97% warrior blood. I then ventured back out into the iron mines as Meredith, the bright archer, and the Krieg, the undead general, were my next victims. I tried to kite them together so that they would hopefully fight each other and actually make our lives a little bit easier, and it kind of worked. Now the fight's going on. We're just going to hide behind Krieg and watch these two duke it out here. I'm just going to grab this health back here. I am trying to focus on Meredith. I am playing with fire here. Oh, one's down. Here we go. Alright, hopefully we can get Krieg over here. I know Krieg is very strong. Not strong enough to defy Meredith, though. Let's go! 2 V-Bloods for the price of none. Let's take a look at the new stuff that we got. So, with Krieg, we got an Unholy Tear Spell Point. We got some Doorbells, a Reaper, which I'm really excited about. I love the Reapers. As well as the Holy Resistance Potion. So after feeding both V-Bloods, I then also found a chest where we got some extra stuff and finished mining up my iron ore, which I took back to the forge to get smelted into iron ingots. I then also made myself up the silver thread bag as well as my first piece of next tier armor. I also placed down the smithy in order to be able to craft the iron weaponry, which would once again boost us in gear level. I went ahead and made myself the Iron Reaper out of iron ingots and planks, and I had finally gotten my scythe that I wanted, or the Reaper. This was probably my favorite weapon in the game, to be honest. I then ventured out to try and track down Lydia, the Shadow Priestess. However, I wasn't expecting this many mobs to show up. There were a lot of dudes here, and I didn't really want to die just yet. However, I did get my first death of the 100 days. Which I was really sad about because it wasn't even to a V-Blood, it was just to literally a bunch of mobs, which made it even worse. Upon returning, I managed to kill all of the mobs and then made my way up to Lydia, the Shadow Priestess, who I started fighting. Now, I did switch out my spells for this fight. I did have a static ball of electricity that did damage, as well as a defensive shield that would summon in skeletons whenever it blocked ranged attacks or melee attacks. So it kind of gave us just extra firepower to use against Lydia, the Shadow Priestess, and after a small tussle, she did go down to our mighty power. I did unlock a bunch of extra stuff such as the Scourge Stone, the Artesian Table, as well as Dusk Callers. I then made my way to Maya, the Dark Savant, who I needed to defeat in order to unlock the library, which was going to be our next research sort of based blueprint stuff. So we needed to defeat her in order to get that blueprint and be able to craft that so that we could get extra blueprints and level up our gear level even higher. Now Maya wasn't really too difficult with the spells and the Reaper that I had equipped. We were able to deal with her relatively easily. Didn't die to her or anything like that. The electric ball and the undead shield made it very easy. Killing Maya granted us, like I said, an illusion spell point, the study, as well as garden fencing and an extra couple of structures. I then returned back to base, making myself up the next tier of armor that I needed, so the Hollow Fang leggings. I also placed down some extra servant coffins so I could get some more servants, and then I made my way to defeat Bane, the Shadow Blade. Now, he was slightly stronger than us once again, however, I did utilize the same spell set that I had used for the last 2 V-Bloods. So, he was a bit of a tough fight. He does go invisible and summons in a bunch of clones, but thankfully my actual static ability that applied the static damage onto him revealed what one he was. So it actually made the fight slightly easier having this spell equipped, which was really handy. He's doing his spin attack again. Alright, we managed to dodge it that time again. 20 seconds and our ult is up. We've got a bunch of dudes coming though, so we're going to drag him out this way. Oh no, he's resetting! Unfortunately, he did reset and those guys caught up to us and they managed to take me out with a shield slam. I did return back to him because he was right near our base and I did successfully kill him this time, however. So, I mean, it was just an annoyance more than anything. But Bane the Shadow Blade was going to give us access to a new weapon, which was the Slashes. So, thankfully, we were able to take down Bane and we did get our human form as well as the Slashes. We're just going to casually change into a human form in front of these guys. After testing out the human form, I did some exploration where I stumbled across Simon Belmont, the vampire hunter. That is Simon Belmont. I don't even know. Let's just take a quick gander here, see how much damage we actually do to the guy. He gets tickled for like 1 damage.
You cannot penetrate my defenses.
Oh god, that's scary. I'm just running for. I'm on fire. That's pretty badass though, seeing Simon Belmont running around. He looks proper terrifying as well. I'm not hanging around trying to fight him, I can tell you that much. Let's get out of here. After encountering Simon, I then made my way to Gretel, the glass blower,
She was once again slightly stronger than us, however, she did take me out once. I wasn't going to let that happen again. I wanted to take the warrior back to my base. Okay, I might have to die here. You know what, let's just get out of here and we're going to reset the fight because I don't want that warrior dying or getting involved in this fight. We already do have a warrior back at base, but we can take this guy back and convert him into a servant. Although that doesn't look like that'll be the case right now, to be honest. It looks like we're going to die. Actually, you know what, I might just take him back now. Because I'm going to have to reset anyway with my health the way it is. That was the wrong button. Nice. Alright, we got him. I'm going to wait for these guys to pass because I think he might die otherwise. And then we're going to take him back to base and we'll chuck him in the servant coffin. Thankfully, I was able to get the warrior back into a servant coffin and convert him into a servant. And then I returned to deal with Gretel, the glass blower. Now, I needed to kill Gretel because she was going to give us the ability to make glass. So I chucked on my Death Knight spell and I also kept the lightning ball spell. And I did my best to try and defeat Gretel. Now, she has a lot of area of effect attacks, and you can see there, the glass just deals a lot of damage to us. So I had to be very careful, as well as that the molten glass sets you on fire, so you've got to dodge that as well. She's a very difficult fight to get into. Thankfully, she does stand still for quite a bit of it, so we were able to get some good Reaper abilities off, as well as our Death Knight and Electrical Ball attack off. I was just kind of holding out to get my ultimate ability back up before we could try and finish her. And hopefully that would be enough to deal with her. Thankfully, I played it safe, kept my distance, used my Death Knight and my abilities. And I was finally able to defeat Gretel, the glass blower. She kind of brought upon herself by dashing into me though, to be fair. I could have definitely nailed that shot a little bit better. Oh, that was so close. Kill her, Death Knight. Oh, we got it down. I'm going to wait. Oh, that was so close. Woo. Alright, we can now make glass. Hallelujah. And the Blood Rose Potion. That was close. That was very close. Now, on the way back to our castle, I did stumble across a 73% rogue who I dominated, and I brought them back as well to convert them once again into a servant. And our 97% warrior that we had brought back earlier was also ready to rise, and Alfred was born. I then returned back to the Iron Cave with my iron weaponry, and alongside my iron weaponry, I was now able to destroy the large iron nodes, which made gathering iron a lot easier now. Now, I did spend the next few days going about increasing our castle's capacity and making the individual rooms up. So we had our forge room just here, we had the workshop room just here as well, and then I went ahead down the bottom here, and this was going to be our jewel crafting room. So the castle was slowly coming together. I did go ahead and take a look at what we needed for the next tier of pendants. So the pendant of the Dawn Runner was what I was aiming for, but first off we needed to make the Scourge Stone pendant for that. Thankfully we did have the resources that we needed for it, so I went ahead and made the Scourge Stone pendant up. But the castle was starting to look a lot better. I had organized it significantly better now that we had the individual rooms for each of the crafting stations. But I still didn't have an alchemy room or a tailoring room yet, so they were next on the agenda. And the forge room was actually looking pretty good. I did need to probably invest in some more furnaces for it, because there wasn't enough to keep up. I also made some dusk callers as well, which would help us massively get dominated humans back to our base. They would just get teleported straight into the prison cells, which was going to make life a heck of a lot easier. Now, I did upgrade the Castle Heart to level 3, unlocking the Eye of Mortium. Now, the Eye of Mortium was going to be a really good item, as that allows us to track rift incursions within the Ruins of Mortium, which is where Dracula resides. Now, every couple of hours or so, some new rift incursions would happen, and from those rift incursions, we would have the ability to get Stygian shards. Now, these shards would allow us to actually purchase items as well as build new structures, and we were going to need these in order to get legendary weapons by the end of the game. I then continued my quest to take out the V-Bloods, coming up against Terra the Geomancer with level 53. Thankfully, I was able to kill her. She didn't really put up too much of a fight. me alongside my skelly boys were able to make very quick work of killing her. After defeating Terra, I then wanted to figure out what was going on with the rift incursions. They were starting in 5 minutes, and the Ruins of Mortium was over here on the right side of the map that I hadn't explored yet. So I wanted to head over there and explore to see what was going on with the rift incursions. Obviously at the time I had no idea what they were about, so I wanted to try and find out. I also discovered Simon Belmont again and went the complete opposite direction from him.
Oh my god, what is going on over here? We are in trouble. I'm gonna die. What is this? It's still coming after me? That is a new type of enemy that I've never seen before. So the Ruins of Mortium were going to be fun. I continued exploring as there was actually a V-Blood out here that I was going to need to defeat, and I also discovered some small towns out here as well, with more of the Draculans out here. Now, the Draculans were essentially followers of Dracula, so they did have their own blood type as well, and we could actually get some of these guys as prisoners too. But unfortunately, I didn't really have much luck finding any high Draculan bloods. I did stumble across one of the Rift Incursions, however, as well. You can see on the minimap app there, it's actually the level 1 Rift Incursion. So pretty much what that entails was a bunch of the Draculan enemies would get spawned in an area. You'd have to defeat them. Upon defeating them, you would get the Stygian shards, the lesser Stygian shards, and then you would actually get the ability to defeat a boss that you would have previously defeated. I also discovered General Valencia the Depraved, who one-shot me. So that was fun. After dying to Valencia, I continued exploring where I stumbled upon General Cassius the Betrayer. Now, General Cassius was only level 57, so he was definitely someone that we could take out. Now, thankfully, he's already in a tussle with a bunch of the human-type enemies that were wandering through. So I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and try and finish him off for the sake of the humans. Now, this guy had some very powerful abilities. Thankfully, though, with the lower health and him being static like that, I did have a chance to heal a little bit. So it did give me a little bit of a chance to heal. However, he did have a sword that we also had to destroy and then throw at him in order to break his immunity. And he also moved this sword around quite a lot. So it wasn't too difficult of a fight. It was a fun fight, however, because obviously new mechanics and stuff like that that we hadn't really faced before were really good. So on breaking his sword, we then were able to throw it at him, which actually stunned him for a small amount of time, which allowed us to get quite a large amount of attacks off, and we were able to defeat General Cassius the Betrayer. I did also receive the Tailor's Flooring from defeating him as a book as well, so I just needed to take that back as well. I also received a Merciless Greatsword, Iron Greatsword that we had received earlier as well from killing that Lesser Soul as well. So I then ventured out into another Rift Incursion to try and defeat that and obviously increase the amount of Stygian shards that I had. There were a ton of enemies out here though, but I really enjoyed doing these. There was a lot of fun. Now they were at varying levels as well, so this was the basic one at level 57, but there was also one for the higher levels at level 80 as well. So eventually when you would get to those higher levels, you would get the greater Stygian shards. Now, I did also find a level 86% Draculan blood, which obviously I wanted to get. I didn't realize that you could actually tame those, well not tame, but turn them into servants, the seductresses. So I kind of just killed her and took her blood, which was kind of a shame because I would have really have liked to have taken her back to the castle as a prisoner. Get that 86% blood, baby. I then went ahead and discovered Dracula's castle. I wanted to see if I could actually get inside and see him or anything like that, because, you know, sometimes you can see the V-Bloods wandering around the world and stuff like that. So we did manage to make our way up here, and it was guarded by gargoyles as well as a bunch of scary other dudes, but unfortunately, I could not get in to fight Dracula. Well, we can't actually get in there by the looks of it. We have to kill these guys. Damn. I then returned back to base and took a look at what General Cassius gave us. So we did get their Vampiric Brew, which would increase our leech and our particular blood type by 5%. But we also got the Stygian Summoning Circle. So we could use it to summon blood souls from the Shadow Realm, which was going to play a big part in getting the items that we needed for the progression system. Now, the hunt for V-Bloods continued. I was on the hunt for Frostmoor, the Mountain Terror now. Now, he was located up here in the snowy area just below the ruins of Mortium. Thankfully, I was able to find him relatively quickly. I used my Death Knight, my Energy Ball, and my normal ultimate to defeat him. We also used the crossbow as well, which was a slightly different weapon, and I did enjoy using the crossbow as well to defeat these guys, and just using it in general was a lot of fun. Thankfully, I was able to take down Frostmaw the Mountain Terror. I also spent a bit of time grabbing some Hallow Wood, as this was wood that we could refine into planks and oil, and I was going to need oil to make the thick leather and the Mountain Peak bag that we got from Frostmaw the Mountain Terror. General Elena the Hollow is actually pretty close. She must be in the ruins of Mortium area then, I guess. If she's close by. Oh, she's right here. Alright, we'll try and clear out some of these mobs, because there is a lot of these guys in here. And then we can try and take her out. Oh my god. Holy smokes. Well, they got us. These Dreadhorns are sick. I wonder if I can dominate one. Does that work on this thing? I want to bring one of these guys back to the base. Oh my god, the bats are just destroying me. Here she is.
The Legion of Noctum exists to serve.
Oh god.
Feel the chill. Power.
Not gonna lie, I'm shitting my pants here a little bit. Okay, good. Those dudes are leaving, so it's just me and her now.
Feel the chill.
Oh shit.
Die. Be
Come on, come on, come on. Alright, that should finish her. Let's go.
I'm sorry, Master.
Upon defeating Elena the Hollow, we got access to the Altar of Stygian Awakening, which was going to be great because we were going to need that in order to unlock new passive skills that we could use the Stygian shards that we had collected to upgrade our powers. Ooh, oh, so you use Stygian shards to upgrade it. Critical strikes leech 5% health, and there is a 25% chance to spawn a blood orb when killing a target affected by leech. Chaos Unkindling, so I'm assuming, okay, so there's one for each class. One for each blood magic type. I then tracked down Jade, the Vampire Hunter. She was just as much of a pain in the ass as Tristan the Vampire Hunter was, except she was in a more populated area with more enemies. So we had to deal with all of the extra adds that Jade had supporting her. I did use, once again, the electricity spell and our Death Knight in order to deal with all of the adds, and hopefully was going to use that to deal with Jade the Vampire Hunter. Now, I did want to kill Jade because she would give us the ability to craft pistols, and we were going to need pistols as they are one of the best weapons in the game, in my opinion. So I did take her at a bit of a range game, utilizing my ranged spells as well as the crossbow to try and defeat her. And we were oh so close to defeating her when she decided to just absolutely unleash a huge barrage of abilities on me. I guess I kind of deserved it. I did the same thing to her. Come on, come on. Bro, are you kidding me? Just stop jumping.
Dance for
me. No. Look at that sliver of HP. Are you kidding me? Upon returning to fight her again, guess what? Another V-Blood show up. Possibly the worst one as well, Christina the Sun Priestess. So no matter what damage I did to Jade, Christina was just going to heal Jade right back up.
Thankfully, I was able to separate them, and this time I was going to finish the job and defeat Jade the Vampire Hunter if it cost me my life, which it already had cost me once before. This time, though, I wasn't going to let it cost me it again. So I managed to defeat Jade the Vampire Hunter, unlocking pistols, the Primal Blood Essence, as well as the Advanced Blood Press. I then encountered my first werewolf down at the Dunley racetrack. I was looking for a horse to actually take back to the base for me. I just didn't have any luck. I also ventured out into Raziel, the Shepherd's area. However, the holy radiation was too much for me, so I did have to call a retreat and head back to my base. But before I did that, I did find all of the chests in the area, so I grabbed all of those before finding an 89% rogue blood, dominating that guy and taking him back to my base to turn into a servant as well.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, what have I done? This is not where I should be. So I just came to see this because I wanted to see it. It was called Dracula's Demise. Lord Styx, the Knight Champion. Okay, well, there's Lord Styx. Is that Dracula encased in there? There's also something very big flying above us. Oh, God, this is scary. Look at the sword sticking out of him. That looks so badass. All right, we need to get out of here, obviously, because we are going to die. Upon returning to the base, I then learned all of the new research books that I had discovered. A bunch of merciless stuff mainly. I also made up the Holy Resistance Potion and made the Advanced Blood Press. And I unlocked the Veil of Chaos Dash, which was going to be so much better than our current dash. This would essentially give us 2 dashes. I also applied some wallpaper in the various rooms of my castle as well. And I also subdued this rogue prisoner and created him into a new servant so that we could send them out and gather even more resources as well in the process. Oh, this is one of those carriage things where we can loot it. So let's try and get the loot out of this. I'm not sure entirely how it works. I also want the dog blood, but I just lost it. Fire arrows, I swear to God, are the worst things ever. And of course I walked straight into it. What? Where did that bull come from? Oh, it's the bull off the carriage. Bro, can I stop walking in the fire? So I'm assuming we just destroy the cart? We're still technically in combat. Alright, cool. I guess so. Let's kill this guy real quick. I'm assuming these are all in Silverlight Hills as well. Whoa! Alright. Iron Spear, Library Flooring. I think we already have that. Gouging Curve. That's cool. We got some gems. Mesmeric Rock. Cruel Eye. That's actually really good. Increases life drain by 32%. Projectile range and speed. I really like Sanguine Coil as a spell. So after destroying the carriage, I then made my way back to the holy area in order to face down the priest that resided within. I did have the Holy Resistance Potion this time around, so I was protected from the Holy Radiation. But I did find some good loot up here as well, because these tombstones are all lootable. And I also fed on a 76% Scholar Blood before fighting Raziel the Shepherd. So Raziel the Shepherd, he was a bit of a tedious fight. He does summon in like these chalices, I guess is what you would call them, that do spawn in holy light and stuff like that. But we did try to counter him with our unholy spell shield, as well as our chaos volley and our chaos barrage. So all in all, it was a pretty decent fight. We did slowly whittling him down in the process and finishing him off with the chaos barrage, as well as our sword skills and our chaos volley. So all in all, we were able to kill Raziel the Shepherd, gaining his blood as well. Let's go, we've got the Merciless Iron Reaper. Finally, I've been waiting for that. On the way out, we also found a 93% Scholar Blood, which I obviously had to take back to the castle. However, he managed to kill me before I was able to dominate him, which was embarrassing. Upon returning, I was able to dominate him successfully, and I did send him back to the base with our Dusk Callers as well, where he awaited me in a prison cell.
I also unlocked the Sanguine Coil spell and equipped that with a jewel as well, so that we would deal the extra life drain as well as the extra projectile range and speed. It was then time to fight Octavian, the militia captain. Now, I did go in with the Sanguine Coil and our Death Knight abilities to try and defeat this guy. In hindsight, probably not the greatest idea. I should have probably gone in with a shield, because this guy does do a large amount of ranged attacks when he starts getting to lower HP. However, I didn't really think about it all that much, and I kind of just went balls deep in trying to defeat this guy. Thankfully, our Chaos Barrage does deal a lot of damage. I did manage to get the health orbs as well that he dropped at half health, and this is where the fancy footwick began. I did have to try and dodge all of these boomerangs that were coming out. Thankfully, the Sanguine Coil did manage to keep me topped up from any damage that I did take, until I took a freaking flame arrow to the face. Thankfully, it did set Octavian on fire as well, and we were able to defeat Octavian, giving me the wide castle entrance, the new forge, as well as the ability to create extra things. So I returned back to base, made up the Stygian summoning circle to see what that was all about, and it had a different bunch of recipes within, so I wanted to try and test it out. Now, obviously, I only had the basic Stygian shards. I didn't have the greater Stygian shards, so I wanted to chuck those in and see if I could get some extra research, so I made the Blood Harpy. Now, this summoned in the Blood Harpy, and I did have to try and defeat it. Upon defeating it, however, it did give me quite a large amount of scrolls, as well as some blueprints that I didn't actually have access to before. So I was pretty happy about that. We did get a decent amount of scrolls, which kind of made up for the cost of what it did, but we did lose 400 lesser Stygian shards in the process as well. So that kind of sucked. It kind of was like, eh. But the research that I had as well, I already had pretty much unlocked one of them. So, do I get anything? Yes, we did. We get candlesticks and the boots. All right, cool. So that was kind of worth it. Poor Alfred. He's bitten. I bit a woman who had just eaten garlic soup. He's injured. Poor. That is the best injury I've ever seen on a vampire. Oh, how good. Oh shit, Kenya died. I guess she didn't survive her mission. Luckily, I'm a vampire with supernatural powers. So after sorting out my servants, I then learned a couple of new recipes, went back to the traders to purchase some more research, and made my next tier of armor. The Blood Hunter and the Crimson Templar gloves, which would give us an extra couple of gear levels. We were now sitting at gear level 61, which was really good for us. I felt like we could now take on the next tier of bosses. So we had completed Act 3 and we were now on to Act 4, which meant we needed to head up to Gloom Rot. Now, Gloom Rot brought with it mutant abominations, as well as a bunch of new different types of dudes with a bunch of different movesets. We had a taser shield guy, we had batoon guys, we had flamethrower dudes, we had guns that shot out lightning bolts that stunned us. Then we also had flamethrower dudes that would kill their own guys. So I was pretty thankful for him to helping us out, to be honest. It was saving us a lot of time. All right, we're going to loot all these houses, because normally there's quite a lot of good stuff in these houses in Gloom Rot. Quite a lot of scrolls, quite a lot of silver, that sort of stuff. You can see here we're getting quite a bit of silver, so that's going to be really good for us so we can buy our blueprints that we're missing at the traders just across from the base. And then we're going to try and track down Domina, who's, I'm pretty sure, in this town somewhere. We just have to find her. And then we can kill her, and we're going to unlock the whip. And I want to give the whip a shot, because it is a new... There she is there. It is a new weapon. I'm going to try this new ultimate out. Ooh, this is cool. Okay, I don't know if that's the best one. Honestly, I think we could probably do better with the invisibility. The one that makes it not invincible, but like we dash and become untargetable sort of thing. Thankfully, Domina was patrolling this town, so we took this opportunity to go ahead and try and face her. Our first tier 4 boss, our first Gloom Rot boss, and she did not disappoint. We were doing great until she got to half health and we copped an attack that took us down to half health, and then she enraged and started doing a lot more damage with a lot more crazy moves. To say I wasn't prepared was the least of it. That was a big barrage of attacks there. So she did manage to get the drop on us, but we briefly returned to try and give it another go. And this time I had changed up my spells, bringing a Sanguine Coil, Explosive Spiders as the ultimate, and our Undead Shield to summon in more Skelly Boys. Thankfully, I did manage to get her to half health again, and then the real fun began.
I managed to summon in 2 more Skelly Boys, and I didn't even save my shield for this big attack and took a huge amount of damage from it. Thankfully, I did have Sanguine Coil and a couple of health orbs to top myself up, but I was slightly more prepared, aside from the fact that I decided to walk straight into the bloody radius of her attacks, which was an absolute dumb idea from my part. She then decided to hit us with a freaking Gatling of lasers and killed us again. However, that didn't deter me, so I returned back to face her once again, utilizing more of the terrain this time to dodge her attacks. And thankfully, it played out rather well. I was able to dodge most of her attacks and still had most of my health intact until this final wombo combo actually almost killed me, and I was a bit concerned then. She then went ahead and did her big ultimate move where she spins around firing the electric balls everywhere. Thankfully, I had the shield at the ready this time, and I was ready to finish her off, killing Domina the Blade Dancer as well. So that went swell. I returned back to the base and researched all of the new books that I had received, giving us some extra base decoration stuff. I then returned to the traders and bought the water well, but instead I was supposed to buy the Alchemy Lab Flooring. So I needed to go ahead and farm 30 more pieces of copper in order to buy the flooring before it refreshed. Thankfully, I was able to get that copper from various sources nearby, and I could buy the Alchemy Lab Flooring, which I was happy about. So I returned back to the base, researching all of the new book stuff. Now, all of this was in the research desk, but I just wanted to complete everything in there so that we could unlock all these structures in order to decorate our base a little bit more, because I figured that would make it look a lot nicer if we could decorate it, obviously. So I also spent some of the paper that I had recovered and used that to automatically learn some of the research that I hadn't obtained. I just needed a bit of a break from fighting bosses just so that I could focus on something else, so we could go back refreshed and being able to actually defeat her again without her wiping my butt on the floor. I also went ahead and used the scrolls in the study as well to unlock a bunch of new stuff, because I did have quite a bit of a stockpile of them. So we did get the Merciless Iron Whip as well as the Merciless Iron Pistols, which is something that I was waiting for. I then spent some time decorating the castle, placing some of the rugs down and around the castle. I also changed some of the wallpaper to the royal wallpaper and set some carpets over through, not into the dungeon though, the dungeon for the ick, we didn't want to cover that area. I then spent some time trying to map out my garden. Obviously, I wanted to get some crops growing, I wanted to get some stuff looking nice and presentable for when my other vampiric overlords decided to come and pay me a visit, and we have some tea in the garden. So I wanted to make sure that was all looking fancy, so I placed down some hedges, and I also wanted to check out this new castle wall stuff that I hadn't actually seen before. It was actually new. So I chucked some of that down onto our castle walls as well, and I was actually pleasantly surprised at how it looked, to be honest. I kind of liked how it sort of blended into the environment with it, especially considering that we hadn't cleared this area away in front of the castle, and we still had the trees and stuff like that there. So I was really happy with how this new ivy stuff looked. So I went ahead and placed the path down. I then also mapped out where I was actually going to put the plots, but idiot me didn't realize that when you actually plant the plants, they're permanent. I was thinking that they would eventually run out and you'd be able to pick them out of the ground. Alrighty guys, so you probably saw what we were doing throughout the days. We've got a gardening area now, so it's pretty basic at the moment. I don't have all the furniture unlocked, so I've just kind of gone through with what I do have. I'm pretty happy with it. We've got some plants finally planted now, so we're going to start getting some crops growing. We've got some trees growing there. We come into the throne room now. Everything is carpeted up. We've got a bit of light sconces going on in here. So if we come upstairs here, you can see that we've got a viewing area down to our bottom floor. So I really like this, but what I'm thinking of doing is actually scrapping this and having it go up 2 flights of stairs. Because right now it just seems a little bit too cramped, and I think if going up 2 flights of stairs, it'll actually make it look a lot better. So after finishing up my garden, I then went back out to Gloom Rot and got some tech scrap. Now it was a blood moon, so I did want to try and get a boss in, so we headed to Zangram the Purifier. Alright, here he is, the big dude himself. Let's go ahead and start taking him out. I remember him being a massive pain in the ass. Now I'm stuck in the Chaos Flames. Okay then. Yep, that'll do it to me. Let's give it a shot. We've changed our spells up a little bit.
Infestation! Extermination! Welcome to the apocalypse.
Oh shit, we're out of blood.
Oh, well, that's not what we want to see in the middle of one of these fights. We're going to see if we can get them to help me out here and fight him as well at the same time. Honestly, I'm going to summon my golem right now because this is not what we want. There it is.
Infestation! Extermination! Die! 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 Armoring up! Die! Die!
Oh, that was close. Alright, here we go. We're going to bring in the golem.
Die! Die!
We're just going to hammer him. Oh, no, he's got the inverse barrier. Alright, we need him to... I can't really get around to him at the moment. Just waiting for my dash to come back up. Here we go.
Unfuck it! I will destroy it!
Let's go. Got him. Alright, so from killing Angram, we got Mutant Gruel, Explosive Box, Mutated Rat, and the Dawnthorn Regalia. Oh yeah, we got our first harvest of plants. Let's harvest it all up. I also may have not have realized that when you plant stuff, they permanently stay there. Yeah, so for the Dawnthorn stuff, we need pristine leather and the silk. So we're very far off getting that because we need to kill the next 3 bosses, I believe, to actually get access to that. I then went ahead and killed some of the rat horrors just to see how much mutant grease we got and whether or not it was worth to actually use the Alchemy Lab. It was. Let's also kill Nibbles the Putrid Rat. We haven't actually killed Nibbles. Nibbles is another V-Blood that's all the way down at level 30. But Nibbles is notorious for destroying bases, because people don't expect him to be as strong as he is. And he also digs underground and summons hordes of rats. Alright, Nibbles the Putrid Rat is dead. I feel a little bit bad. I then went ahead and placed the Fabricator. Alright, cool. We're in the process of making up some radium alloy, so we get 4 per craft, which we should have enough to make a decent amount to begin with. Yeah, I'll make the greatsword as well. Good thing is as well, we already have a Reaper weapon ready to go and get upgraded here. We already got 36 of those bars. Cheering. All right, here we go. We should have everything we need to make the merciless version of everything. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. All right, perfect. So we've got our merciless greatsword, our merciless pistols, and our merciless iron whip. I then went ahead and tested out the brand new whip. That's pretty cool. And what do we do with it? Entangling whip. Striking a line, dealing 100 physical damage. Okay. That's pretty cool. I then went ahead and placed the Ancestral Forge, which would enable me to turn my merciless iron weapons into ancestral weapons, granting that I actually had access to the ancestral shards. So this was how I was going to progress my weapons to the next stage of things and make them even stronger. I then went ahead and made my first ancestral weapon, the Gouging Curve. Now these weapons also have an extra stat bonus in comparison to the standard iron weapons, so I was happy about this, and it also increased our gear level a little bit more. So we got the Gouging Curve at weapon level 20, and our attacks also inflict chill. I then repeated the process with my whip, gaining the Crackling Chain Whip. Now, I needed to head out to the Cursed Forest to try and track Ben the Wanderer to kill him, because we needed to get our next tier of armor, the Dawnthorn Regalia, and we needed that from the Cursed Forest. Thankfully, I did find Ben wandering around in the forest, but he has to be probably one of the most annoying V-Bloods ever. So essentially, all he does is he hurls you back into the huge amount of mobs that follow you through the Cursed Forest. He doesn't really attack you, he just throws stuff that knocks you back. He's a very frustrating V-Blood. You can see the amount of mobs that we picked up on the way. I'm just trying to kill this guy. Extremely insufferable. Benny boy, I know you're around here.
The game is afoot. The fox. The hound.
Oh, don't change directions on me now, you bastard. See what I mean? He's already gone. Like, I cannot see him. There he is. Thankfully, after tracking through the forest for quite a bit of time and using my new spells, which consisted of the Frostbat to try and slow him down and my Q from my scythe, I was able to keep him pretty much pinned, and I was able to take him down, unlocking the Forest Shroud that would allow us to explore the Cursed Forest without us having this fog over our minimap, which is going to be huge.
Huge thing. Next up was Angora, the Spider Queen. Once again, we needed to kill her in order to get the Spider Silk so that we could make our next tier of armor. And so the fight began. Now, Angora is a very difficult boss if you don't know how to face her. Luckily, I did have a pretty rough idea on how to defeat her. Oh no. Oh, let's go. Oh, shit balls. I thought we were having one of those moments again. Woo! First attempt for Angora, the Spider Queen. Oh man, she was such a pain in the ass the first time I fought her. I'm so glad we managed to take her out in one fight. Honestly, I was not prepared to lose my mental sanity over trying to beat this chick. I say chick, over beating this Spider Queen multiple times. Oh man, that feels so good. Alright, we did get something from her. Was it the Flawless Sapphire? Oh, another weapon, Morbid Curve. So I'm wondering what'll... I mean, this one says... Oh, it's just got different stats. So you can see there, 33 max health and extra attack speed. Whew. And we also got Spider Form.
From flesh to shadow.
Oh, look how cute of a spider I am! So I think you can just... Yeah, burrow. To hide from enemies and to avoid the burning sun. So that's actually pretty good. I'm also cute as a button. So after defeating Angora, I then made my way to Albert, the Duke of Balaton. He would give me the ability to create money. And he was a giant frog, so I figured, why not? Let's try and take him out while we were out here in the Cursed Forest. I do really like this fight. And we managed to kill him first go without any issues, to be honest. It was a good fight. I then went in and stopped by the werewolf village to try and fight Wilfred, the werewolf chief. I only had a small amount of blood left, so I figured I'd give this a shot, and woo! Wilfred was a pain in the butt. He would eat these villagers and get health from them, so you had to kind of kill the villagers. Thankfully, I was able to bring him low, and we managed to kill another V-Blood. I then returned back to the castle and went ahead and made myself up the Dawnthorn armor, which was the full set. Now, I then ventured out into the Cursed Forest again to try and take on Cyril the Cursed Smith. Now, Cyril was our gateway into the next tier of weaponry. By defeating Cyril, we would get access to the Dark Silver weapons. So we had to kill Cyril in order to progress in the game. It was a close fight. Thankfully, I had fought him before, so I kind of knew what I was doing.
This is death. You get used to...
Upon defeating Cyril, I did get access to the Advanced Forge, so we went ahead and replaced our original basic bitch forge with the Advanced Forge, which was much bigger, much better, and would refine the silver ingots that we needed to upgrade our weapons into the next tier of things. I did have to make a little bit of space though, but it wasn't an issue, and I placed down my brand new forges. It was then time to venture out into Bridehaven, and I needed to start off in the Silver Mine so that I could defeat Sir Magnus the Overseer to get the ability to craft silver bars. So I went ahead, I brought out a raid of workers to try and help me deal with Magnus, and they actually did a pretty decent amount of damage. I may have accidentally got them involved in the crossfire, completely accidental, but Magnus, the Overseer, did get a taste of his own weapon with me using the Frost Shield and him being ice. He also tried to put me through the gate, which wasn't very fun. Thankfully, I was able to kill him, and I gained the ability to craft myself the silver bars now. Now, because it was a blood moon, I figured I might as well go and fight the next V-Blood on our list, Baron de Bucon the Sommelier. I didn't even restore my health looking back at it. I'm such an idiot. I didn't even bother restoring my health. Now, this guy was 3 levels higher than us, but he pretty much just brought in a bunch of barrels. But these barrels, they hurt! They do a lot of damage. So I had to make sure I destroyed them as they were coming down and also attack him at the same time. Thankfully, his attacks were pretty easy to dodge. It was mainly just the barrels that you sort of had to worry about, in all honesty. But we managed to get him down to half health. We did restore some of our health, but we were very close to death. We weren't looking that hot, to be honest, and he just kept summoning in the barrels. All the barrels he could possibly want. Thankfully, we were able to kill him on that first try, and we did get some pretty decent loot in the process as well. Upon returning back to base, I then took a look at the ancestral weapons that I had received, and I wasn't really too happy with any of them, to be honest. I was holding out hope for a set of guns, but I was pretty happy with using my current Reaper and the Whip as well at the moment. Now, I did want to upgrade it, so I needed to make the Dark Silver Reaper. I did, however, have some Dark Silver ingots being made up in the furnace. So all I needed was a couple more of them, some reinforced plank, and a primal blood essence in order to make what I needed. I did need to make more spectral dust, which I could make in the grinder, utilizing up the ghost crystals as well as a couple other things. And that's what I would need in order to upgrade my gouging curve. I then traveled out to the vineyards because I was going to need some grapes in order to make the Blood Merlot, as well as just needing it to sap my prisoners for their blood types. Of course, it was met with resistance with a bunch of these dudes trying to attack me, and these guys are just so strong in such large amounts of number. Like, I had 67 gear score. These guys were only like 1 or 2 levels above me, and then once I finished killing them, more of these bastards decided to show up. It's almost like they're trying to protect these settlements or something. Thankfully, I was able to get a decent amount of grapes from killing these guys, but it was just a slogfest trying to deal with all the dudes protecting the vineyards. It was really something. I also found an 89% brute blood, which I wanted to take back to the base because I hadn't actually gotten a brute blood yet. Thankfully, the skeleton boy that I summoned in didn't actually damage him, and I was able to transport him back to the base. And then I finished off by killing this knight. I was just trying to clear the area so I could harvest up some resources in peace, and they just did not stop coming. It was just never ending. But I did get my grapes in the end. I then went ahead and fought Morian the Stormwing Matriarch, a harpy located on the top of the mountaintop. She did manage to kill me a couple of times, but I did return with renewed vigor, and I changed up some spells so that we could utilize those instead, because she did bring in a bunch of minions to help her out. Thankfully, the second time around, I was able to defeat her, even after all her little chaos explosions that she decided to bring in. With the help of my Skelly Boys and my Frost Shield, on 21 health, I was able to kill the Stormwing Matriarch. Next up was Marion the Elementalist, and oh my god, this has to have been one of the worst V-Blood fights in the entire game. I died so many times to her, and we spent quite a few days trying to defeat her. I remember, absolutely killing me. Wait, she's already split up into 2? No. I'm already dead. Just off that one attack.
I am the fire that will cleanse Vardor, beginning with you.
Round 3.
I am the fire that will cleanse Vardor, beginning with you.
My fucking god, I cannot stand this boss.
You were. You were.
And then finally, after a string of deaths, my luck finally paid off, and we went and battled her to the death.
I will end you, War. Just like that.
From defeating her, we got the ability to make tier 3 jewels and the Holy Resistance Potion. I then returned back to base to gear up for the next V-Bloods. Well, I'm dumb. That was our 89% brute. I also spent some time upgrading my gear, making myself the pristine leather bag, as well as upgrading my Reaper to a 23 weapon level, which is pretty good. An extra slight little increase always helps. I also woke up this converted servant, Phoebe the cleric, who was a brute. I just like the way she looked, to be honest. That's why we did it for. I then also went ahead and made some blood merlots from some of my prisoners, including my scholar, the warrior, and the rogue as well, because we were going to need them to fight the next V-Blood. Now, I also sent my servants out on some missions as well, so they could gather some resources for us, because that would just generally help our resource production. And then it was time to face Matka the Curseweaver. Now, Matka the Curseweaver, she is a witch in a cauldron with legs. Yeah, it doesn't get much creepier than that. She also has the ability to turn us into pigs, which, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really enjoy being a pig. So we got to work trying to kill her with her own magics, utilizing our undead spells collection. So summoning in Skelly Boys with our bolts, as well as our Skelly Boy shield. It worked out pretty effectively. Aside from her turning us into a pig and us having to run around as a pig trying to dodge her all attacks, thankfully we were able to take her and her mosquitoes down for the count, and we successfully killed her. So from defeating Matka the Curseweaver, we can now make mosquitoes. We also have the ability to make ghost yarn and the advanced loom. Now, I was making my way to the next V-Blood, Dr. Henry Blackbrew the Doctor, when we actually picked up some ancestral pistol shards, which I was pretty happy about that. I don't know where they came from, but I would take them. Yep. I remember Henry Blackbrew, alright. He was a pain in the butt. It was then time to fight Henry Blackbrew the Doctor. Now, this guy was the master of lasers and countering our abilities with his energy shield. It didn't help that I was using Skelly Boys as well that would attack him and trigger the counter. Thankfully, I was able to whittle him down to half health, where he did start shocking the entire arena. I just had to finish the job from this point. Here we go.
Brilliant!
Okay, we survived that. That was normally his worst attack that he does to you. Come on, come on.
The power of God at thy fingers.
Oh, shit.
Try me now.
Come on. If I can get some Skelly Boys to finish him off.
Don't touch me, damn.
Let's go, come on. Oh, we got him. First try. Woo, woo. All right, so from Henry, we just got the Anathium, which is our next source of research that we've unlocked, and I really want to build this. All right, we had a slight change of plans. We're actually over here now going to take on Voltatia, the Power Master. They're 3 gear levels higher than us, but I feel like we might be able to get ahead. I don't know. We're going to give it a shot here. See how we go.
Trespassers will be treated.
I thought it was going to hit him. I really did. Alright, we're getting straight back into it. We're going to go again. Oh, man. Alright, we're going for something a little bit different this time around. We're going to run Spectral Wolf. And we're going to run Corrupted Skull Skull. I don't have a gem for Spectral Wolf. I really should, but we don't. So let's see how we go.
Intruder. I'll deal.
Alright, here we go. So this is why I brought the Spectral Wolf for. In case they are in close proximity to each other. We can essentially run the wolf and get it to hopefully hit both of them. Or any of the guards that they actually summon as well. Come on, come on, that'll finish him. We got it. Let's go. Woo! 36 health, that was bloody close. I will take that. I then returned back to the castle and built myself the anathema so that we could learn our new tier of research. I did spend a bit of time filling out all of the books that I had received and researching it all. We got a bunch of cabinets. We did get a new set of, not a new set, but a new gear piece, as well as the sanguine axes and the sanguine pistols, which I was pretty happy about the pistols, to be completely honest. After completing the castle upgrades, I then went ahead into the ice area and went to fight Terra the ogre. Now, I went into this with 9% rogue blood. I don't know what I was thinking, but he killed me pretty easily with it. And me, being the sucker for punishment that I am, returned to try and kill him again and failed miserably. This time, however, I returned with some new spells and a new strategy. Try and dodge his attack utilizing the guns as well as our long-range spells. Thankfully, it was working pretty good. We did manage to get him down to half health, and the extra dodge that the guns enabled us to pull off was actually doing a really good job of defeating him. And thankfully, we were able to kill Terra the ogre. Woo! It's funny how just changing a couple of spells around makes all the difference. I then returned back to Brighthaven as I wanted to get some more cool looking servants as well as some servants for this area because we needed to get the resources from it. Thankfully, I did find a 79% knight, which obviously them being the knights looked really cool. And he was 79%, so that helped out drastically. And I was able to get him as a servant when I then spotted a 97% cleric at the site of my next V-Blood fight. So I had to go back to base, make the dust callers so that I could transport the servant back to our castle, and thankfully it was still there. I just had to deal with the knight first, which was actually perfect because we didn't have a brute blood that we were using at the moment. So I went ahead and dominated her and managed to get a 97% brute blood. I swear to God, did I get the Scourge Stones? Oh, the dust callers? I thought I didn't bring them with me for a second there. I was having heart palpitations. Alright, well, let's just leave it for now, I guess. Let's see if we can take him out.
So violent. I'm sure even a monster could be civilized.
Oh yeah, we definitely need the shield for this guy. Although that does look like it does a lot of damage to him. Let's go.
Perhaps this is necessary.
There was a lot of enemies. Alright, he's dead. Let's get him. Easy. Upon defeating Azariel the Lightbringer, I did get a Spectral Wolf Jewel, which was actually super strong. So we decided to switch and start using Spectral Wolf as our spell. We also got another jewel as well as a new research book, and we got the ability to make gold bars. I also spotted a 93% rogue blood, and I went and checked out the bookshop before making my way back outside to try and get this 93% rogue. I didn't have a decent rogue blood, so I figured let's try and get this guy. Thankfully, I was able to subdue him and I sent him back to the castle when I then found a 96% rogue in these wandering guys before getting a low and blow before a brute dude. I returned upon finding a huge horde of these guys as well as a cleric that would heal them. Super annoying to deal with. Thankfully, I did get them, and then I returned back to base to make up some gold ingots utilizing the gold jewelry and sulfur that I had accumulated over our journey so far. Alrighty, we can make our next tier of leggings and boots. So we're just going to go with the Malefica. That's all we've got. We're going to take it. So we'll get the spell. I then took a look at the new V-Bloods that I could access with our new gear. And Lord Styx, the Knight Champion, was one of them. And we needed the Blood Key to get into Dracula's castle. I also built a gem crafting table as well so I could upgrade my jewels. And then I went ahead and made myself up the pistols that we had recovered earlier from Gloom Rot. I needed a stronger pair of pistols and I upgraded them using the dark silver pistols as well. I then went ahead and made some sanguine pistols as I did unlock the blueprint for this, and I was able to upgrade our reflective neutralizers into the sanguine tier, giving them 26 gear level. I then also went ahead and made up some more gold coins so that I could actually go purchase some of the books in the Fairhaven Square, and I ended up with 366 coins. I then pulled out the servants that I had retrieved from the area and converted them before heading out and facing down Simon Belmont, the vampire hunter.
I stand unyielding.
Oh god.
Witness the power of Belmont. Guided by purpose.
Where is he gone? Can't see him.
Cut through the darkness. I'll cut you down. Your darkness will be vanquished.
He's pretty badass.
Destroy the enemies of good. The precision of my whip is a torch that lights the path to your demise.
Oh, jeez.
Chase down the darkness.
Alright, his whip is on fire now. I rolled straight into that.
Your reign ends here.
He's pretty badass.
You cannot penetrate my... Ride the righteous winds.
I tell you what, luckily we got this bloody cover here,
Captures the wicked.
because we would not be having a good time.
Sanguine regeneration. My axe vanquishes evil. Evil dies today. Belmont's wrath is unstoppable.
Oh! What do I do here? He's literally just demolishing the trees. Am I supposed to just wait? Is he healing? He is. He's healing.
I will show you the might of the House Belmont.
It's raining. What is it raining?
Witness the precision of a Belmont's blades. You can't escape justice. Chase down the darkness.
Just fucking barrel
Darkness
rolls
will
through.
be vanquished. Face me,
I'm
monster.
dead. God damn, that was an insane fight. Fun, but he's very powerful. Whew.
This is a Belmont. You can't escape justice. Aha! Got you now. Face me, monster. My light will engulf the darkness.
Alright, here we go. I
But
may have
my
popped my ult
honor.
a little bit too early.
There will be vengeance.
Oh no, not the punch. Oh,
Prepare for your end.
that was good. He read me pretty well there.
It's the precision of a Belmont blade. Have at you.
From my veins, I rejuvenate.
I'm just hoping I can heal before he sees us.
Your end descends.
Alright, at least I didn't get punched into fire that time.
Technique.
Come on. We're so close.
Restore my
My axe vanquishes evil.
I think that's it.
I've got you in my clutches, monster.
Let's go! Simon Belmont fallen to me. Ah. Not anymore, Sonny Jim. I hope you have some offspring because you dead. After defeating Belmont, I then made my way to the town, but I forgot my gold coins to purchase the items. So I had to return back to base to get the gold coins. Thankfully, I returned and I did pick up a couple of new recipes here from the Maleficent Scholar chest guard, the Amulet of the Arch Warlock, the Dreadplate boots, and then I found a paladin out here that I wanted to make a servant just because he looks absolutely badass. I'm an evil vampire overlord. I also spent some time looting the city and I actually found a really good gem for our Death Knight spell. So obviously I looted that because I hadn't actually found a gem just yet for our Death Knight spell. I put that on straight away because it was really good, extra health and lifetime, and then I tested it. Now, while also continuing to explore the town, I found another jewel. Looks like they were saving them all for me here. So I actually equipped that one and I was using that jewel in order to use our Death Knight. I headed back to base, went to the Anatheum and learned the new blueprints that I had gotten, learning those in the process, gaining myself a new amulet as well. I then spent some time using the schematics to discover some more spells, to discover some more recipes. I was hoping to find the Maleficent piece that we were missing, the Maleficent gloves. Unfortunately, however, I didn't get that. I did unlock a new amulet, however, which was really good. So I then went ahead and made the chest guard, made up some more gold ingots so I could get some more cashola going. And then I headed out and just went on a bit of a killing spree in the local area. I then carried on that killing spree over at the ruins of Mordium as I was going to try and farm up some Stygian shards, both lesser and greater Stygian shards, as I just needed a bunch more of them in order to get some more anathema recipes as well. I also wanted to try and get this brute back to the base, however my skeleton mage killed him before fading into the ground. And I was hoping he was going to be the freaking area out here that we could have used him as a servant. But my freaking mage skeletons killed him. Wonderful. I then headed out to Gloom Rot to charge some batteries that I had farmed up, as I was going to need these to make some better gear, and I needed a bunch of them. So unfortunately, these were probably the thing holding me back the longest from progressing. I did manage to collect 20 of the batteries, however, and I could use those to make the energy cores, which I was needing to make the stronger amulet, which I made the amulet of the Master Spellweaver. I also converted the paladin into a servant as well, and I made some blood rose potions as well as some extra potions just to gear up for the upcoming fight. I also found this chest that didn't have really anything good, and I started mining up the blood crystal and getting ready to fight Lord Styx, the Knight Champion. Let's just repair our health. Alrighty, here we go. We're going to run with the same setup, Death Knight and Spectral Wolf.
You are all mine. The resistance is futile. Bow to the everlasting night.
Okay, we might switch off the wolf if he does that attack into a shield one. Because that was a lot of damage.
Little rat, I will teach you respect. Bow to the everlasting. Face the fury of Nocturne.
I don't know where he's gone. I'm going to get this health. Oh my god, he summons in gargoyles. These dudes are sick though, I'm not gonna lie. They were pretty damn badass. Right now I'm just trying to hold out till I can cast my ultimate and hopefully kill him, but that didn't happen. Alright, okay, that was pretty good. We're doing alright now.
Fury of Nocturne.
I'm gonna grab these health orbs just to push us up above the health. Doesn't help that bloody gargoyle's there. We're gonna pop another Death Knight that we just got a free cast for. Another free cast to the Death Knight. Nice. Alright, we've killed these vampires. Gargoyle things. Trying to get him over here so he attacks our skelly boys. Oh, what is going on here? Okay, let's get him. Oh no, I fucked it up. Oh, I can't believe I missed that. That would have probably killed him. That's right, this should finish him. Let's go. We managed to get him. After killing Lord Strix, we did pick up a couple of jewels that he dropped as well, which was great. I'm going to take free jewels. We chucked those on, and we could make the Onyx tier as well as the Blood Key to get into Dracula's castle, and we also unlocked the Bat form, which meant we could now fly. Obviously not in the sun, because the sun would burn me to a crisp, and it hurt a lot, but we could fly during the night time. So I headed out to the Cursed Forest and took on Gore Crusher the Behemoth. Just while I had the Scholar button, I'd figured why not, let's get this all done. However, he wasn't in his cave where he normally is, so we had to wait for him to slowly make his way up there when we could finally face him. After a very long and grueling fight, however, Gore Crusher the Behemoth was finally brought low. And we didn't die once! I was pretty impressed by that, to be completely honest. I was fully expecting to die multiple times. I then made my way to the Ruins of Mortium, and I wanted to try and take on General Valencia the Depraved. My days were running out, and I didn't really have too much time because I knew that Adam the Firstborn and Dracula were probably going to take me a couple of days each to try and kill. So I wanted to get the other V-Bloods done ASAP. However, General Valencia, she was extremely annoying. She summons in a Iron Maiden that actually sucks you into it, and it also takes all of your blood. And it also shoots out spears that suck you into it. So it did take me quite a few attempts to learn Valencia's attack patterns, and I was constantly dying and trying to defeat her. I was using my Death Knight and my Spectral Wolf, but I figured I might have to change this up at some point because she was just absolutely obliterating me.
Spill your blood for me.
I must mend my equipment.
Oh, that's not good. I don't know if I can kill it now, to be honest. Oh, I'm dead here.
Blood will stain my path to immortality.
I'm on 10 health. Nah, I'm not even alive. Never mind. After being unsuccessful, I then returned back to the castle. I actually found the Potion of Rage, so I learned that, and then I crafted up that as well to help us out. I also woke up our new servant as well. He looked pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. I was really happy that we got him. And then I returned back to her for round 2. I'm giving up on this one. I don't think this is going to be the run to do it. Just taking literally every single hit that I possibly could have.
Embrace the agony.
No, it's over. I then changed up my strategy and started using the shield instead of the wolf. Just drop.
The weak.
I honestly don't know how those attacks keep freaking hitting me.
Tree of your demise. Let us set the stage.
Come on, Death Knight. No. So close. Oh, that's so annoying. I then returned. I was a sucker for punishment. I really wanted to beat her. I felt like the Frost Shield was doing a great job of doing damage to her, and the Death Knight was also just a really good job at distracting the Coffin and herself. Plus, when it died, we would get the Skeleton Mage sometimes, so I figured it was worth keeping these spells on. And slowly but surely, I knew I would get there to kill her.
Feel the nightfall. Embrace the agony.
Should be it. Let's go. Nailed it this time around. We got her. I also went ahead and got some Stygian shards by completing the incursions as well. I spent about a day doing this and got quite a decent amount of shards from completing them all, so I was pretty happy about that. Next up, however, was Talzer, the Winged Horror. Now that it had bat form, I was able to fly up to its mountain peak and fight it. And boy, oh boy, this thing was terrifying and huge at the same time. I was really excited about these last few fights that we had going on with the V-Bloods. Looking like double shield might be the way to go here. That did a lot of damage to me. Tell you what, this Death Knight gem that we got that summons the extra minions after we lose the Death Knight, I tell you, it is such a good gem. Honestly, it is so good. I reckon it's carrying us for these last couple of fights, to be completely honest. Just because of how many spawns we're getting from it. Like, it's so good. Here we go. Ultimate to finish. I can't believe I missed that. Again, I missed. Let's go. Talzer's dead. First try, baby. Let's go. Whew. Alright. Physical damage on dead, extra movement speed, critical strike chance, and weapon skill cooldown recovery rate. That's actually pretty good. And we got a soul shard of the Winged Horror and Scholar Boots, which we already have. So after defeating Talzer, the Winged Horror, and gaining all the loot, I then made my way back out to the Ruins of Mortium because I once again wanted to get some greater Stygian shards to obviously level up and learn some more stuff. So I had to defeat these Primal Blood Souls, which were essentially just previous bosses that I had faced reincarnated. So it was a fun fight against them, but I pretty much knew the attack pattern, so I did kind of know what was coming. And I did farm up quite a few of these because I needed quite a few greater Stygian shards. There was quite a few things that I wanted to do. In saying that they were easy, I did obviously die to them a couple of times, but that didn't prevent me from going ahead and finishing the job. But I did do a number of these across a few days, so I was pretty happy with the amount of Stygian shards that we had at the end of it. I then returned back to base and begun making up my Dark Silver weapons so that I could make the Sanguine Reaper, and then I sent some servants out on some more missions, and I headed back out to try and farm some batteries as well as farm some Gloom Rot dudes so that I could take them back to the base. Thankfully, I did find this 92% brute that I was considering turning into a slave as well, so that we could actually get some Gloom Rot area resources farmed up more effectively. I also grabbed some more batteries while I was up here because I was going to need them to make an EMP as well. Thankfully, I was able to make Death's Determination one of the ancestral weapons with the Sanguine Reaper. This was going to be our new weapon, and it was much stronger at 30 gear level.
I was pretty happy about that. We still held on to our pistols, however, because I figured they were going to be strong. I converted the servant into a servant, made some more holy resistance potions so that I could make the holy resistance flask, because our next target was going to be another soul shard bearer, and we needed that holy resistance. It was time to face Solaris the Immaculate. This dude had 3 phases, and we were going to need to beat him across all 3 phases.
There are still some of you rats. I'll slay. Prepare to taste true power. Your end is nigh.
Okay, he's got an angel in here. I wasn't ready for that. Unfortunately, he was able to defeat me the first time and the second time. This guy put us through the paces, I can tell you that much. But every time we came back stronger and renewed. I mean, we didn't come back any stronger. We just prayed and hoped that we could dodge enough attacks to actually survive. But no, we just dashed straight into one of his blade attacks, killing me in the process. So this guy does summon in a divine angel when he gets to half health, and then he takes a knee and he restores health. And you have to kill the divine angel then to actually break his shield. It's a whole thing that's going on, but we needed to defeat this angel, and that's exactly what we went ahead and did here.
Prepare to taste true power. Your end is nigh.
Mark. Oh, we're attacking the fallen angel. Whoops, not supposed to be doing that. Is this him dead? Oh! We got him! Let's go! Woo. Spectral Wolf and Death Knight for the win. Like, honestly, we got the Soul Shard of Solaris. 10% chance on primary hit to spawn a Death Knight, can only trigger once every 10 seconds. Replace your ultimate ability with Fallen Angel. What does Fallen Angel do? Summons a Fallen Angel to fight for you for 15 seconds. Attacks performed by the Fallen Angel inflict condemn. I mean, that's pretty cool for 15 seconds. I then returned back to base, placing the Soul Shard in the respective holder, and I made some new jewels up for my spells. I was hoping to get a stronger jewel for the Spectral Wolf, as well as the Death Knight. Then it was time to face Adam the Firstborn. Now, Adam was located all the way in the top of the Gloom Rot area, and oh my god, I genuinely lost my mind trying to defeat Adam. In my honest opinion, Adam was actually harder than Dracula. I have no words for this fight. Like, honestly, it took me so long to learn it, and then, even then, I just did not have any luck coming close to defeating Adam. We're gonna chalk up a montage of all the death clips
very shortly. But oh, this fight, it was so much worse than Dracula. I spent so long trying to defeat Adam. This is where most of my days went. He was 100% the hardest boss in the entire 100 days. Absolutely ridiculous. Plus, he had these electrical generators that just shot lightning beams across the bloody field, which made things even harder and obviously helped him, made it advantageous because he does have a throw attack. And if he throws you into these lightning beams, well, you're pretty much screwed. Like, there ain't no coming back from that. So, we had a ton of deaths to Adam the Firstborn. That's me dead again. After those first initial deaths, I thought I'd go back and make the new Dracula gloves that we got. So we had the Maleficent gloves and the Maleficent boots, and I thought that would give us a slight edge over him. How wrong I bloody was. So after all that, I then finally managed to get him to his second phase. Yeah, you heard me right. There's a second phase and I've spent this long only on the first phase. Absolute crazy boss. I ain't gonna lie, it was ridiculous. So I tried to clear those out while he shifted into his second phase, and his second phase is essentially he gets a lightning hand and a whole bunch of new attacks. It ain't pleasant. At this stage, I had had enough, and I was ready to try Adam who was boss.
My command. You should too. As a god!
Let's fucking go!
I told you! I told you you were gonna get it! And you fucking got it! I hope you're fucking
Taste of knowledge.
So after defeating Adam, it was time to prepare for Dracula. I summoned in some Blood Witches to learn some new schematic blueprints in the Anatheum, and then I went ahead and spent some money on trying to get a legendary weapon. Failed, unfortunately. I returned back to base, making up the Blood Key as well as Dracula's Maleficent leggings, as well as some potions that we were going to use to fight Dracula with, including the Potion of Rage and pretty much anything that I had the ability to make, and the Vampiric Brew. Then it was time to head to Dracula's castle. I defeated the guards hanging outside the front of his castle and made my way inside the dilapidated building. Honestly, I was kind of expecting, I don't know what I was expecting actually. I thought there were going to be enemies or something in here, but I really liked the old destroyed castle. It was really cool. So we slowly made our way through until we discovered the Shadow Realm. Oh man, look at his castle. There's his throne over there. All right, let's see how we go. Do I have to walk through it? I'm a little nervous, I ain't gonna lie. This is really cool though. The Shadow Realm throne room. Whoa.
Footsteps. An uncommon sound in my timeless domain.
I'm just gonna casually destroy his castle. This is pretty sick. Hello, sir. I've come to challenge you. Destroy your castle. Yo.
My legion stands ready for my return. I will not tolerate this delay.
I'm fighting Dracula.
Kneel to my dominion.
I have no idea what his attacks entail.
There is no escape from your fate.
Oh shit, that's cool. I'm just gonna try and play it safe-ish here, because like I have no idea what he does.
King. On your knees. There is no escape from your fate. Let me die. In my
Oh, oh god. That, yep, okay. Don't think that's supposed to happen to us.
Run, little weakling. You will learn to obey.
He's very strong and scary.
Run, little weakling.
It's just a matter of learning his attack patterns and what he actually does.
I am the ghost of your fears. I drain the life from your face.
Oh shit. Oh, he took all my blood.
It's not the end.
So where do we respawn and can I get my bag back? Oh, this is going to be painful. I don't think I can quit from the fight, which means all my... Oh, wait, no, we still have our stuff. That's actually really cool. Alright, cool. I'm glad we don't lose all our stuff. We just end up on the other side of the rift pool. Alrighty. This is going to be a slog. And so began the journey of trying to learn his movesets, learning when to dodge attacks, testing out different spells and builds, testing out different weapons, trying to learn how to dodge his attacks, figuring out he has a second phase, which, I mean, it makes sense, it's Dracula. So we actually got him down to half health and found out he had a second phase, which we weren't quite aware of. So we figured, well, let's try and give this a shot. I don't know what this does, I'm scared. Should I focus that thing? Oh, Jesus. Oh my god.
Endless hatred.
There's two of him.
I am the master of blood.
Okay, we can destroy this crystal, but I don't know what it is.
No mercy for the weak.
Do they just maybe potentially circle the arena? He also has some big ass flame attacks. Alright, I mean, that was pretty good. So I'm guessing he doesn't come back to life. It looks like he's got a first phase and then a second phase so far. Okay, that is a lot of swords. Holy smokes. Okay, so, I mean, it looks like we might have to destroy those blood crystals because they're just kind of going to keep spawning in, but at the same time, they're very powerful crystals, so I don't know if it's worth us trying to kill them or just focusing on Dracula entirely. So I was starting to get in the habit of actually getting him down to his second phase, which I was pretty happy with how that was progressing. We were still dying to him, and like every time if I did badly at the beginning, I figured we wouldn't really be able to take him out. So we managed to get him to almost half health without taking a single hit, and then of course we copped 3 of his spinning blades all at once and perished in that fight. So that wasn't really the greatest, but honestly, he was still easier than Adam the Firstborn. I just had to figure out a way how to deal with his crystals in his second phase as well as dealing with him. I was holding out hope, and then I finally figured I had enough of him, and we put on our tryhard hat. And from there, we just wanted to see how we went.
Ah, the scent of a bloodkin. You're the fraction of my power, don't you? My legion stands ready for my return. I will not tolerate this delay. Run, little weakling. You will learn to obey. Gaze into the maw of the vampiric vortex. king! Die for your king! The ground weeps sanguine tears! I will be your doom. Crave to taste your blood. This is the end. I am the darkness. Feel the bloodstorm's tide! The shadows herald your end. Ground weeps and wind tears. Within the mist unseen. The ground weeps sanguine tears.
Oh, we got him.
No! Impossible!
Alright, we changed the spells up here a little bit.
Defeated by my own power.
Is he dead?
There could be
He's dead.
no other way.
We killed him. Oh. Oh, we killed him. Can't believe we killed Dracula. Oh, let's take his blood. Oh, I can't believe we got that. Let's go.
New knowledge acquired.
Oh, Dracula the Immortal King has been defeated. We got the soul shard of Dracula from killing him. I'm sorry, I can't take my name seriously. Go forth. Emerge victorious. Oh, let's go. Back to our castle. We've defeated Dracula to unlock the Throne of Darkness. And there we go. The Throne of Darkness, fit for a vampire lord. So guys, that is going to conclude this 100 days. Hopefully you enjoyed